meaning we have been using expired money for more than 2 years. Interesting, right? Now, during this time, this is what they call the gestation period. The gestation period of money depends on paper, depends on the security seals that are put on this money, but also the relevance of the designs. You will realize that the old note of the 5,000 has the gorilla on it. The new note on the other side has the convention building on it. Welcome to yet another episode of On The Spot. My name is TR Bright. You can call me Bright News Mabashir, and UKWELI Times is where you are watching me from, in the city of 1,000 hills. That's Kigali, where we bring to you the best of what is happening across the globe, and we are not limited to what is happening to Rwanda. All you have to do is just get to the note and say, I like it, I'm watching it from this country, or I would like to know about this, and we will come here to bring you just that. But you can be able to make us continue doing this by subscribing to on the red thing. Just click there once, and of course you can hit the like button, subscribe, and of course the notification bell when you are yet to say something on the comment section. Now I come with yet another, of course, exciting news for some of the people that had left Rwanda a year or even months ago, or even a week ago. You are yet to be surprised by what is happening. Currently, the Rwanda National Bank, which is also normally known as BNR, has introduced the new note. Initially, this was in rumors. Of course, a man called Bob would tell you that this was thought about because the notes that were introduced were actually long overdue. Now, I'm here to take you a little bit through the history of the Rwandan money, and I'll bring to you to why these notes are changing at such a time and what is followed to design this note. And I'll take you through a little bit of a background of how Rwanda's money started evolving. You cannot imagine, it began in 1916 after shortly the Belgians took over from the Germany in what was called the German East African Protectorate. Now, we saw the emerging of the Belgian Congo Protectorate, which then saw the beginning of the first currency in 1916 that was called the Belgian Congo franc. And this one was supposed to be used by an entire region of 3 countries. That's in Burundi, Congo, and Rwanda. Later on, first evolving, of course, in the 1960s, the first Rwanda franc was introduced. Yes, and this was used mainly by 2 countries, and this was Burundi and Rwanda. That is very interesting, right? Because a proposal exists to introduce a common currency of the East Africa, of the whole entire region. But this has not been seeing the light from the year 2012 when it was expected to be beginning. But they are not limited to being innovative. Now, in the Constitution, there is what guarantees the mandate, the initial mandate unto the National Bank of Rwanda, which is the sole protector of what we call the national currency, be it digital, be it what you would call a paper note. What we are yet to see is the evolvement of what has been taking place since 1964. With, of course, 1964, we also saw the introduction of coins that were introduced in the denominations of 1, 5, 10 francs with 1, and of course the 10 franc which was in bronze. That is also another interesting note to take on the Rwandan money history. But later on, the 100 note was introduced in aluminium and a seal of bronze. But back then, we also had a note that was over 100. Now, the Rwandan denomination over the time has evolved from just more than we currently have around 3 notes, which is the 500 note, the 1,000 note, the 2,000 note, and the 5,000 note, which makes them 4. But initially, there were actually 5. We had the 1,000, the 100 note, the 500 note, the 1,000, the 2,000 note, and the 5,000 note. But we are going to put the main emphasis on these 3 that are being introduced, which is basically the 5,000, the 2,000, and the 1,000 note. Now, according to the National Bank of Rwanda, called the BNR, to most people who have grown up here, it is supposed to take, the lifespan of this money is supposed to be 10 years. But currently, because of the circumstances that were happening, this had delayed. Did you know that the note you are using right now, which the government is yet to call in for exchange by September 3rd in the year 2024, had been in use for now 12 years, meaning we have been using expired money for more than 2 years. Interesting, right? Now, during this time, this is what they call the gestation period. The gestation period of money depends on paper, depends on the security seals that are put on this money, but also the relevance of the designs. You will realize that the old note of the 5,000 has the gorilla on it. The new note on the other side has the convention building on it. The blob is different, right? The twists and turns, the security seals are going to be entirely different. But what keeps this note even more peculiar is the purple flary color. Most people are still confused. Is it purple? Is it pink? That's not me to decide right now. But what I tell you is that this is the most beautiful note that can ever be presented to any bank all over the world, and one that you should keep. Now, I'm going to give you 2 reasons why you need to protect government money. Because in as much it is in your bank, you have gotten it from your bank or from your own ATM, you need to protect this money. Why? Because this is actually not your money. It's a legal tender. Making it a legal tender makes it government property, makes it the national bank property. So if you are actually caught changing something, introducing something, or even creating a hole, you are liable to be punished. Yes. And of course, to guarantee that your money is genuine, there are current security seals that are being put on this money. Like my producer ISSA will put some of these notes on the screen. The security seals on this note are more than 15. They are more than 15, and I'm going to give you some of them that you can be able to know that this money is genuine. Yes. Some of them is going to be, of course, the seal that you can be able to feel, which is the silver lining that you are able to see through the light. When you twist this note, it's going to be able to have the seal in there. And of course, you will be able to know that this money is genuine. Yes. And of course, it has an A mark. The A mark that you should be able to feel in the sentence down, written in Kinyarwanda, written on amafaranga ibihumbi bitanu. Now the A in the amafaranga there has a different touch when you come to see it. Now there is another seal below below the note number. In the other note that you see has A00 something something. Now that's what they call the note number. Now it has a seal behind it that you should be able to realize that this is a genuine money. Now the gorilla seal that was on the original one is coming only to give you an in-depth of we are still a tourism giant in the region. Of course it's there and it's shining in a silvery goldish kind of seal. Now these notes that are being introduced are going to be even different to the virtue of the fact that they have features for people with visual impairment. A person who used to give wrong balance to a person who is blind, you are here for a scare, because the visually impaired now will be able to tell that you have given them the money that is not what they are asking for. This is what makes the Rwandan money even more different. Now, after the 12 years, the money is going to be changed. What does it mean for a currency? There are 3 things that happen. They are going to recall in the old notes. That means from today to the 3rd of September, if you have any money, it would be better deposited. If you deposit this money, then the people going to start withdrawing money from the machines or from the agents is going to mean they are going to receive what they call a new note. And what happens when the old notes are picked? Now, the National Bank, which is called Benin, has a certain way or certain machines called shredders, which has a team that operates it that do the selection of the quality. Now, this is a process that does not begin with new notes or introducing old notes. No, this happens over and over and over to maintain the paper quality, to maintain the quality of the money of any currency. Now, when this old money is picked, it's going to be shredded because this is end of cycle for it. But even when we deposit the new currency, even when you deposit the new money, after a certain time, the National Bank calls all the money in from the deposits, which is in the commercial banks, and then they do what they call selection. And in the selection, they do the grading. And after they've done the grading, the money that has run out of, of value, paper value and everything, they shred it to protect the currency and the currency features. Yes, of course, the National Bank is going to be putting out a couple of other guidelines that will educate people on the quality of the money. How are you able to tell that this money is genuine? Now, I know some people right now are yet to think, oh, I'm outside the country. How am I going to be able to change my money? No, the National Bank has ways at which it rolls out a new currency. And of course, with conjunction with other banks across the world, they definitely receive this note that has been introduced. And there will be exchange patterns on how you can get your money changed to what they call the new note. Remember, each time you mismanage this note, this paper note, it means you're actually putting the government's budget on printing money too high. Now, most people are asking themselves, how does government spend money to print money? Now, that's what we call the paper value. The paper value, when government contracts someone to print this money, there is a certain amount of money they are asked for this job. There's a certain amount of money that they are asked to allow the seals to be put on this money. Then there are franchises of seals that are selected by the National Bank by a committee of members that actually agree or enter into a contract with this with this money printing company to be able to protect the currency from when it is transported to when it lands in the country. Before it has landed in the country, it is not actually money. So, for some of you who might think, oh, what happens when the money is being transported? What if the plane gets an issue and the money can land in the hands of wrong people? Or what if the money is to... Now, if you are planning to do that, you are in for doom. Actually, money cannot be recognized until it has entered the system seals for the National Bank. Yes. Now, what happens is, between the transportation from the factory where it is manufactured to the country where it is destined, it is insured. And because it is insured, it is transported like any other cargo. Very hard to even know that there is money cargo on this transport. And when it lands at the airport, there is a security detail that escorts it from the airport to the caravans of the National Bank. And then what follows are the seals that are being tracked to be able to know that this is the amount of money we have in circulation, or this is what we are sending in circulation. The National Bank is never going to stop to surprise you. Never. Yes, what other features are we likely to see on this note? Of course, the National Bank of Rwanda wishes to inform the general public that it has released new series of banknotes and the denominations of 5,000, 2,000. These banknotes will be, of course, in circulation effective September 3rd on the year 2024. That was a special announcement from the National Bank. And of course, the amazing currency of 2,000 will have features of a river. I'm yet to confirm, is this the River Nyabarongo or a tributary of lake, of a certain lake? I don't know. I'm yet to find out. But these are some of the patterns to help the country be monetized across the entire world. Why? Because the paper money itself is a way to advertise the country. Or someone can be able to tell the history, the transformation journey of this country based on our paper money. Like I told you, most of you were used to looking for a gorilla on the 5,000 note. This time around, don't shake it out. Don't refuse it because it has the convention building on it. No. It's actually good money when you receive. It's just that the other one has landed out of life. The 2,000 note is going to have agaseche. Yeah, the agaseche, which is a normal millet basket for some of you that would want to know, in a seal. For the 5,000 note, on the seal, it's going to have the gorilla, which has always been there, but it's in a seal format. Now, on the 2,000 note, it's going to be the millet basket, and then in the center, it's going to have a river-like which represents the lush green and fresh waters that we have in the country. That's on the one side. On the other flip of this note is going to have coffee beans to represent how the levels of growth in terms of agriculture and contributing to the world market when it comes to coffee production and the best coffee producers in the entire world, and it being one of the source of incomes to the Rwandans. And of course, the 1,000 note is going to have different features which will be able to differentiate it from the other currencies. And of course, in another episode, I'll bring you what you have to learn from the money. Keep hooked, keep working hard, for this money is for you. I know it's going to be very exciting to have a new note in your pocket, but let's be mindful on how much we have in circulation. Why? Because did you know it costs government 3 times more to print the money value of what? For example, I can tell you it costs government around 15,000 to print a note of 5,000. Interesting, right? Because the pattern of keeping the liquidity, of also keeping the money value straight, is what matters most. So let's not get excited to have a lot of cash on us, because we need to protect the value of our money. And the best way is using online transactions or even cashless transactions. Now, this is something the National Bank is not going to tell you more often, but it really makes them so happy when you are using your phone to pay, when you are using your card to pay. Why? Because then the government is spending less on printing paper money. But it is also a good thing. Why? Because it gives the economy enough time to rest in terms of transactions. Why? Because most paper cash money spends most time when it is being bankrolled. And when it is being bankrolled, that is an amount of time that people have to spend counting this money. It is easy when it is figures versus figures. And the good thing is we get to admire the new note for a long time. For now, my name is Bright, and I'm always here to bring to you what is always an amazing epitome on what happened and transpired in the week here in the region and across the world. UKWELI Times is the channel you're watching me at. Remember to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so that you get to keep watching such content. Be careful.